everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. Can a narcissist change? That's probably what everybody involved with a narcissist wants to know at some point or another. I certainly did. Just a couple of years ago, this is what my search history would have looked like. Silent treatment, narcissism, covert narcissism, can a narcissist change? Change and narcissism, narcissists who changed, etc., etc. In today's video, I'm going to speak specifically about narcissists and their ability to change. Can they? Will they? And does it matter if they do? I was actually happy the day that my ex was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Naively, I believed that it was going to be the beginning of many changes from him. I obviously had a lot to learn about narcissism. I didn't get it. It took a lot more pain for me until I really understood narcissism. I have my channel specifically to help people who are suffering because their partner is a narcissist. My hope is to reach people before they live a lifetime attached to a narcissist. I spent 20 years just about attached to a narcissist, and that's a life sentence. I'm incredibly blessed to be free now, and I don't take that lightly. I know exactly what narcissism does, not only to you, but to your children. There isn't even a chance that narcissism is going to pass by your kids. They're going to be devoured just like you. I get it because I live it. I'm going to begin by saying something very important, something that you need to hear. There was a time that I was desperate for my ex to change into the man I wanted him to be. Granted, that isn't quite as bad as it sounds. I wanted him to be the man he pretended to be, the man he wanted me to believe he was. I believed I was married to that man. I was in for a lot of pain. Narcissism is cut and dry once you get to a certain point in your knowledge, but until then you live with unbelievable confusion. Essentially, you're living with a stranger, and the stranger does really bad things. You, however, despite seeing exactly what is happening, insist on living as if our narcissist is somebody they aren't, the person we actually need them to be, the person we want them to be, the person they pretended to be. I was so naive. It actually hurts to remember how naive I was. I walked straight into hell. I had no idea what I was in for. And hell really is the best and only way to describe it. Narcissists pretend to be somebody else long enough for them to get what they want from you. Narcissism is a personality disorder, and the main problem with a narcissist that affects you is that they don't have any empathy. So here's somebody with no heart, no ability to bond or feel love or give love. It's all fake. We fall for it initially in the beginning, and then when things come out, the truth comes out, we can't believe it. We make excuses up. It's so shocking. I feel like our bodies can't handle it at first. It's the utter shock of being with somebody, believing to your core that they are one way, recognizing after a long period of time that actually they aren't that way at all. You don't know them. This person is a stranger. And then you get desperate. You want them to be the person that they pretended to be all along, not understanding that they can never be that person. It was all fake. It's not that they can't be that person. That's the whole thing when it comes to change. Can they change? Will they change? Doesn't matter. Can they change? Yes, of course. If they wanted to change, they could change. The issue for narcissism isn't that somebody can't change. It's that they don't have any desire to. And a narcissist, keep this in mind too about a narcissist, they're not a strong person. The person that I was a couple of years ago doesn't exist anymore. I've had such a change in my personality. I was talking to Joe. It's almost like I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know this isn't possible, but so when I say this, I get what I'm saying, just metaphorically. I wouldn't be surprised if it was on like a molecular level. And the reason I'm a different person is finally, finally, I got away from my ex, and that made all the difference in the world. When we go into these situations, wanting the narcissist to change, needing the narcissist to change, we are neglecting something huge. We are actually the ones that need to change. It doesn't matter who the person is. You can't change anybody. For a narcissist to change, they would have to want to be different. They would have to look at themselves, really look at themselves. Think about if there was something negative about yourself and you had to change that. I mentioned in a recent video that I was in a relationship with somebody before my ex, and when that relationship ended, I blamed the other person. I thought it was his fault. I would have told you, I would have swore to you that it was his fault. I, of course, had myself completely innocent. It wasn't my fault at all. Well, in the very beginning of me not being codependent also coincided with me getting over this. There's a whole long story connected to it. I'll link the video down below that explains it a little bit. But my point in today's video is that when I changed, I needed to look at things about myself that weren't good, weren't attractive. So here I am, I was in this relationship. Now this relationship was a long time ago, but I never dealt with it, and God made me deal with it. It was part of my journey going forward to becoming free of narcissism. I couldn't just be free of the narcissist. I had to learn who I really was. I was being born. I was essentially being born. I grew up in a narcissistic family. It's all I ever knew. I'm going to tell you in a minute what my own father said to me on my wedding day. But before I get to that, I just want to say, so I had to look at who I was. And one thing I discovered in that relationship was that it was actually not just partly my fault, or maybe I had something to do with the end of the relationship. It was 100% my fault. And I'm not trying to be a martyr here. I really believe that it was 100% my fault. I completely neglected every area that I did something wrong. I just didn't want to look at that. It was just that didn't exist. He, of course, did many, many things wrong. But then I was able to realize, like, wait a second, it was actually all me, and not just that, but that his reaction to things was still because of me. So he reacted because of something I did, but I had myself completely innocent. It wasn't my fault. It took me 4 months to really get through that, to get over it, and it ripped me up. It was deep agony, deep, horrific agony, and I had to look at myself every day and deal with it and accept it and talk to God about it. I mean, that's what I did. There were times, Joe always laughs at me because when I was at my house in New Hampshire, I had my bedroom with a bathroom attached to it. And that bathroom was my refuge, my sanctuary. So whenever I got upset, I would be in my bathroom by myself. And I spent a lot of time in my bathroom crying when I was getting over this relationship that I had been in before I was even married. But that's what happened, and that's what a narcissist would have to be able to do, is sustain this type of pain. Look at things they have done and accept it, feel bad about it, actively change. A narcissist doesn't feel bad about anything ever. Everything is always somebody else's fault. Now, I made reference a minute ago about something that happened the day I was married. I come from a narcissistic family. So many of you do too. That's why we get involved with these narcissists to begin with. It's all we know. So my change, me getting better, me being free, me being able to talk to you today like I am, is 100% going through it, dealing with things from my ex. I had to stop hoping he would change, and I had to change. So the day I got married, my father said to me that he wanted to make sure that he said to me, Sharon, make sure he doesn't regret it. That's exactly what he said. Make sure he doesn't regret it. So I didn't matter in this marriage. My own father didn't say to his only daughter, if he hurts you, I'll kill him. You make sure he treats you good. You make sure that he remembers who you are. No, it was all, you make sure he doesn't regret it. You essentially don't matter. And I, at the time, and my father, here he was spoon feeding me codependence right here. And I actually took that advice, and I thought to myself, that's good advice. I'm going to do that. And I can tell you now what the result of that was. The result of that was that I spent almost 20 years catering to somebody who abused me. That's what I did. I had no self-respect. Everything was about making sure he doesn't regret it. Make sure he's happy. He hurts me. Well, that's okay because it's me. I'll have to just suffer. That's how I lived. He must be having a bad day. I was dealing with silent treatment after silent treatment after silent treatment, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, every which way that this man could abuse me and my kids. There he was. But I was so codependent that I put up with it. Even the last couple of years of the entanglement, finally, I was starting to get it. But it still took me 3 additional years to really get it. But that's the whole reason I have this channel. I want people to get it before I did. I wouldn't have wanted to hear this. I would have probably turned it off if I heard this in a video when I was looking for things catered to exactly how I felt, how I wanted them to be. The truth about narcissism, it doesn't matter who you are, your situation, your finances, anything, your physical health, literally nothing matters. You have to get out. I advocate this. And this is a complete flip for me, because when I first started this, not this channel, but when I first started learning about narcissism, I wanted to save my marriage. I was willing to be miserable because I knew he was never going to be the person I needed him to be. But if I could just get him to a certain level, if he could just be enough of the man I needed him to be, I would have stayed. And this was a man, like I told you, who abused me. If you're with a narcissist, they're abusing you too. I was going to stay. I was terrified. I didn't think that I could make it on my own. I am a firm believer, because everything I tell you, this is the thing, every single thing that I tell you on my channel has really happened. It's true. These are my real beliefs when I tell you something like I'm about to tell you. I believe you can manifest your own destiny the way that you talk to yourself and about yourself. So what I mean by that is, if you say things such as, oh, I'm going to have such a bad day, I'm just going to have a miserable day, I'm never going to be able to get out of this marriage, I'm never going to have enough money to do this, to do that, I'm never going to pay this credit card off, it will never happen. You are turning that into reality. On the other hand, if you say things such as, all right, well, I'm having a cash flow problem right now. All right, I'm going to start paying this credit card off. I'll do a little bit extra each month and I won't spend, and it'll get down, and eventually I'll pay this off. Of course, I'm going to lose that 20 pounds. I'm going to start on it today. I'm going to start taking a walk. I'm going to eat, 1 apple a day. I'm going to start replacing 1 soda with some water. Whatever it is, if you are positive, that is what is going to come to you. You manifest your own destiny. I mean, think about it. For anybody who believes in God, I understand, of course, not everybody does, but if you do, God spoke the world into existence. He spoke it into existence. Words have so much power, and they have the power to change your life. A narcissist is not going to change. Yes, they could, but we spoke about what they would have to do to change. Now, let me ask you this question. What if miraculously a narcissist did change? My advice to you, it doesn't matter. It's time for us, for people who have been codependent, people who have been abused, to remember what's really important. We are important. That the narcissist is not more important than us, more important than our children. We are important too. We have a right to live our life and have the things that we want. We can't be afraid and believe that the narcissist controls everything. Essentially, I'm with a narcissist, so now I'm in jail and this is how it's going to be. I can't get out. We are the ones that hold our own key. We hold the key to our own cell. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. It might not happen today. It might take a couple of years for you to be free. But I'm telling you, really, I live this. Speak your existence. Speak your truth, and your existence will come to you, the existence that you want. You can't have a negative attitude and get out. You have to be positive. A narcissist is extremely limited. We are not. We can be free. We can soar. There's such a difference between us and a narcissist. A narcissist is always only going to be a narcissist. They're like an animal in a way. If you think about, and believe me, I love animals. Maybe some of you saw I had a recent video on the Sharon and Joe show on Monday with my animals. I love animals, so this is nothing against animals. But an animal can only ever be a cat, only ever be a dog. A cow isn't going to start its own business. The way a cow is today is how a cow is going to be 100 years ago. If you talk about, like, let's talk about the founding fathers. I live in America, so the founding fathers in the 1700s, they had on their farms the same type of cow that I would have if I bought a cow today. They can't change. Narcissists can't change. People, us, we can change. Now, I told you what my father said to me on my wedding day. Well, let me tell you something. Recently in December, some of you may not know this, so briefly I'll tell you, I escaped my ex. I left him in December on Christmas. In the middle of the night, I was forced to abandon my home to be safe from this individual. Now, finally, I'm headed for divorce. This took a long time. This is a miracle. I consider it a miracle. If I can do this, so can you. So here we are, we escaped. And I changed our phones, everything, so my ex couldn't contact us. My own parents, I gave my parents my phone number, my new number. They turned me into the police when they believed that I had a federal kidnapping warrant out on me. Here I was in Joe's garage, and Joe said to me at one point, here my parents were yelling at me, angry with me because I left. For them, this was unacceptable. How dare I leave? It's okay. They wanted me to live with my ex. They knew who my ex was. He's dangerous. He's been caught with a loaded gun outside of the house. He's been shipped off to a mental hospital. He's been carted out of my house a few times, 3 or 4 times by the police. He's not a good person. He's dangerous. My parents believe that it's better for me to live with this person than have them be embarrassed because I'm getting a divorce, because I'm a single mother. My ex, when he found out I left, even though I did tell him where I was, my attorney wrote me a letter that I gave him. I sent him an email. He knew where I was, just so you know. However, he wanted me arrested. I left the state with the kids that he hasn't seen in like 2 years. He wanted me arrested. My parents believed I was going to be arrested and turned me into the police. This time, instead of saying to them, you know what, you're right, I'm nobody. I should be arrested. I should be miserable. Why should I have anything good in my life? I should just be a codependent and just live my life under somebody else's control. That's what I really should do. I should let my kids be abused by somebody. That's a great idea. This time, I cut my parents off. I'm telling you how I did it. I'm free. I'm free. I spoke my existence into reality. And I'm not trying to make it like some hocus pocus thing. This took time. But my point is that I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. But I started changing. I started working on myself, and I started speaking encouragingly about myself. I started loving myself. I started taking care of myself. I started putting my kids before my ex. I didn't care what he was doing anymore. Our life changed so dramatically. That can be it for you as well, because if you start speaking things into existence, of course I can do this. It's going to take time. Windows start opening up. You start doing the right things. This is what happens. This can happen to all of us. So will a narcissist change? It doesn't matter if a narcissist changes or not. They showed you who they are capable of being, and you know who you are capable of being. You're a child of God. You are a daughter or a son of the King. You can be anybody that you want. You can speak your reality into existence, and I really, really hope that you do. Narcissists cannot be in a relationship with anybody. They are perverse, cruel, sadistic, demonic beings. You are better off alone. You are better off living in poverty than being with somebody like this. I know that there are real consequences attached to being with a narcissist, and I know that there are real fears. I know that there are real financial issues. I get that. I live that. I know that. But I am telling you, freedom is worth anything. Anything. For me to be free, for me to not be afraid, for my kids not to have PTSD, for them to be able to go outside and see a car like that their father drives and don't absolutely start freaking out or being afraid. My daughter shook uncontrollably for over 24 hours on her arm because she saw a car that looked like her father's when we were still in New Hampshire. There are realities that we have the power to change. We can do it. So can a narcissist change? Who cares? Let's change ourselves and we can be anybody that we want in this world. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. Truly, I feel so bad for anybody still in entanglements with narcissists. I want all of us to be out, all of us to be free, because until we all are, none of us can celebrate the way that we really need to. All of us can celebrate together. We can do this. It's absolutely possible. At their core, narcissists are weak. They can't stand up to us at our full strength. So thank you for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of the week. I will see you on Friday, and I hope everyone's well. Thank you. Bye.